Hello, my name is Jacob Corcho. I'm recording the required Loom video for CST-210 5 dice 3-year-olds. Cool, so just jumping right into the structure of the project. We start with two classes. They're both going to be represented by a CPP and a header file. Going from here, we have our main, which is just going to run everything and kind of keep everything organized and together. Cool. So quickly jumping to the rubric, class matches UML design exactly. I definitely deviated from it because the assignment description and rubric here doesn't match up with the UML diagram. For example, right here, reroll int, I believe this is supposed to be a void method, and then show roll, the method is missing there, and then also there was one other thing, but it's slipping my mind. Anyway, I did deviate from this where it seemed necessary, but if I'm wrong, I could just be reading into this wrong. Definitely let me know so I can correct it. Cool. So starting with the die class, the constructor initializes the sides of the die with its parameter. The method roll die generates a random integer in, such as 1. Okay, cool. And then the method get value returns the instance variable. Cool. So just matching all that up quickly. We can see, well, I named mine dice because I built this. I just copy and pasted the pig game we did and then built upon that. So this is dice. I guess it should be named die. Anyway, we have our int sides, which is private, and then we have our two methods, roll dice and value, which are right there, and then they're both under their correct access modifiers. Going from there for our player, this is where I definitely deviated. So we're starting with private string name, private array of die object called dice, and then private total int, and then reroll, which I made a void method because I believe that's what it's supposed to be. And then we have our private roll, and then our private, our two public methods, which are get total and roll again. So cool. So here we have our name, our array of dice, and then our integer total, and then this is current roll. I just add this as an index marker, and then roll, which is a void, is private, and then re-roll, which is void private, which accepts an integer I in argument. And then under our public access modifier, we have our get total, show roll, roll again, and start game. The UML, we only have get total and roll again. I added show roll because it was, they say to add this in the rubric, and then start game I'm just using to start the game, and then lower string is just something I used for convenience over there. But cool. Jumping into the logic of everything. A player rolls this dice, and the result of the roll are shown, including the value of each die and the total of the roll. So, cool. In the player class we start, we have our roll method, and sorry, I'm trying to compare all this to explain it well. I'll just go through the code. So cool, we have our roll method, and then this is just going to loop through every object in our bones array, and each object we're on is obviously going to be the current die or die that we are interacting with, and then we're just going to call roll die, which is the method attached to that current object we're interacting with. Cool. And I did write a to-do here, and the only reason for this is that we actually end up looping through this multiple times, and I know that's redundant. The only reason I did that is because the rubric is kind of, where is it at? The player. Cool. So the rubric kind of states exactly what each method does, and I think we kind of slightly did it different in class, but I just went ahead and made everything follow the rubric exactly, just because I'm not sure if you wanted it that way, but yeah. Cool. So yeah, rolls, or roll, and then we have our show roll, and show roll is just going to basically show the information of the current roll. So show roll displays the values of each of the dice in the instance variable dice. This output is formatted as shown in the sample output shown in UML dice diagram attached. So yeah, basically just a little fancy, UI, and then it's going to tell you what round you're on. And obviously, because we're indexing from 0, we add 1, and then we just loop through again all of the dies and bones, and then this is just for formatting to look pretty, again, formatting to look pretty. And then we're going to have to loop through them again. And the only reason for this is because the formatting to make it look pretty. If we did it in the same loop, I couldn't get the formatting to look right. There might be a way, but I'm not sure. But I know that is definitely redundant. And then cool. Here we just show the total as shown or as stated in the rubric. And then here we have our get total method, which is just going to calculate and return the total. So obviously we're going to reset the total to 0 because we're recalculating it. And if we calculate it on top of the total that we'd calculated before, it'll just add it. So we loop through again each current die and then total plus equals current die dot value. And then we return the total. Cool. And then roll again. First thing we're going to do is show roll, which was our pretty formatting up there. And then we're going to check the current round. I guess I could have used a while loop here. I just used recursion. I'm not sure if you wanted that done a specific way. And then if we exceed the limit, we stop after showing the last round info. So cool. So if current roll is less than or equal to 2, then we're just going to exit. And this is just in Japanese, says like, hi, thanks for playing, or something like that. I forgot. And then cool. And then we just output their name as well. And then we return. And then here we get the user input. So we just have a variable string again. We're going to see out to prompt the user. Would you like to roll again? And then we're going to store their input in again. And then if again called to lower string, which is the method I made that just lowercases everything. And then if the user response is yes, we're going to prompt the user for the number of dice they wish to re-roll. So cool, how many dice do you want to re-roll? And then we're going to store that in R using sin. And then from there, we are going to prompt user R number of times depending on their last response. So like here, how many dice do you want to re-roll? And then which roll, which roll, which roll. And then to do this, all we're going to do is just have a loop, and it's going to index up to R. And then we're going to have an answer, and then we're going to just prompt them again, which dice to re-roll. And then we're going to store that in answer, and then answer -1 because we're indexing from 0. And then else if they say no, then we're just going to exit and use exit code 0 for successful. And then else if user response is not recognized, invalid response, and then that's just going to call up to the method again recursively. And then cool, then we're just going to add 1 to the core roll to say that we're going on to the next round, and then roll again. And this is just, like I said, an index. I guess I could have used a for loop or a while loop. I just used recursion, but cool. And then std string player lower string. This is just what I made. It's just going to transform string begin, string to end, string begin to lower, and that's just going to lower everything to make sure it's, if they type yes, capital, it still goes through. And then we just return the string, and that's called. And then re-roll, and then all this does is it takes our array of dice called bones, and then for index I, we call roll die, so rolls dice of given index argument, or I guess die, and then call roll die of index I. Cool. And then to start the game, all I did here was I see out what is your name, and then we store their name, and then see out, press enter to roll which dice, and then here I just use send.get, so it's going to wait for input. Technically they could input anything, but I think that's going to be on the scope of this. And then current roll is equal to 0, and then that's just going to represent we're starting on round 0. And then roll, we're going to call the roll method, and that's just going to get everything started. So we have our initial output, and then we're going to start roll again, which is going to prompt the user everything I just explained. So just to show all of this functioning, what's your name? Jacob. And then press enter to roll the dice. And actually, let me just actually move this. Press enter to start the game. Alright, now it should work. So there we go, press enter, start again. What is your name? Jacob. Okay, cool. Round 1, your total is 18. Roll again. Yes. How many die do you wish to re-roll? Let's say 3. And then let's re-roll index 1, or 0, but 1, 3, and 5. So 1, 3, 5. So 6 and 4 stayed the same. 1, 3, and 5 changed. Our total went from 18 to 16. And then we're on round 2. Roll again. Yes. How many die? Just 2. Let's re-roll 1 and 4. And then cool. 1 and 4 re-rolled, and then our total is, and then it's saying thank you for playing, and then we use the name. And then just to demonstrate the yes works, it's all capital, and then 2, 1, 2. And then if I were to say anything else, invalid response, and it's not going to change the round no matter how many times I do that. It's going to keep me on my round where I was. And then if I enter no, it's going to exit code 0. Awesome. Thank you so much. And wait, did I go through? I went through this. I went through this. Went through this file, I believe. This file. I believe I went through all the files. Awesome. Thank you.